Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hammerstack. Yes, I know it's been a while since I did an unboxing video for you guys. That is because I use my own money to purchase these phones usually, so I have to be a bit wise when I spend my money. You guys can help me with that by liking and subscribing to this channel to help it grow so I can do more reviews for you guys. So today we're going to check out two phones over here, and these two phones are very interesting for its price and what you're actually getting. The first one here we have very interesting from Apple is the fact that they don't really do this usually. This is the latest, the greatest and the cheapest iPhone phone you can get right now at 400 USD. This is the iPhone SE. Some may call it the iPhone SE 2.0. That's because they did release a iPhone SE 1 many years ago, and it was looking like the iPhone 4, something like that. So yes, over here you can see that this iPhone looks very familiar, and that is because it actually follows the body of probably even up to the iPhone 6, 7 and the 8. It has the same body over here in the back. It has a single camera, and on the front they don't have that notch anymore. So you can see over here it has that bezel, thick bezels on the top and on the sides. But what's interesting though is always on the inside. And over here you have the internals of a iPhone 11. The whole iPhone A13 Bionic chip. It is powering this phone up here in this small device I have in my hand. So the question you might be asking for yourself, the first thing that came to my mind is why? Why would people want to buy this phone? Why would Apple actually want to release this in 2020 when they have their iPhone 12 series coming out end of the year? And there are a few reasons why. The first one definitely is the brand name of Apple. People associate usually Apple with a luxury brand. It's something that you get, when you have a lot of money, you want to get a nice phone, you get this phone. Yes, there are other brands that are equivalent in prices with the iPhone 11 and so on. But when it comes to the brand and the name Apple, the name of it stands out more than all these other brands. Next thing I could think of is that you want to get into their ecosystem. You might have a AirPods Pro, you have the AirPods at home, you have a tablet, the iPad mini, you have a desktop, the iPads, the MacBooks and all that, and you want a phone to go and complement those kind of products. So yes, you want to get something, but you don't want to spend too much. Apple has done such a good job in creating their own ecosystem with their own products, their own chipsets, so that they're enclosed into their so-called iOS. And the next thing is that, like I said, this comes with an A13 Bionic chip. This is the same chipset that is in the iPhone 11 series, and yes, you will be getting a lot of updates for the next 3 to 4, heck, even 4 to 5 years. I am using an iPad mini 4, and even nowadays you still get some iPad OS updates to that phone, to that tablet. And yeah, so definitely with that super good chipset, is one of the best chipset. I can't deny it. It's better than a lot of Snapdragon chipsets, even at that 7nm processor. And you'll be getting definitely a lot of power into this small phone over here. So you don't have to worry about updates, you don't have to worry about being outdated for the next 4 to 5 years. You are definitely getting a long-term phone when you buy this. So at this price point, 400 USD, you might be thinking to yourself, what can go wrong? Is there any other option if I were to get any other Android phones? And the answer is yes. Now enter the Poco F2 Pro. So this Poco phone is actually a so-called successor to the Poco F1 that was released back in 2018, and that phone actually rocked the whole Android world in terms of the value to performance ratio. It came in at about 300 USD, and you were getting a Snapdragon 845, the flagship of 2018, in a phone. So, and you're paying only like half the price of a One Plus. You're paying even more than that, even less than that to the Samsung devices back then. And they are continuing this trend with the Poco F2 Pro. Yes, it's not 300 USD, it's a bit higher. Over here, both these phones, the iPhone SE and Poco F2 Pro, you can get it for 2,000 ringgit, which is equivalent to about 400 USD. And over here, if you look at this phone, it does look very familiar. That's because it is so-called the Redmi K30 Pro. It was released in certain markets, and with this Poco F2, which is a subsidiary brand of Xiaomi, they do release this in more regions so you can purchase this phone. It is the same exact specs, the same exact design as the Redmi K30 Pro. So yes, both of these phones are about 400 USD, and we're going to put these two phones side by side and see what you're actually getting from both of these phones. This is the Android equivalent or the answer to the iPhone SE in 2020. So yes, we're going to point out the elephant out of the room. If you look at both of these phones, it is a massive difference. By massive, I mean the size of this. If you look at it side by side, you're getting a 6.67 inch on the Poco F2 Pro compared to the 4-inch screen, 4+ inch screen on the iPhone SE. So definitely watching content, scrolling through Facebook or whatever you want to do, it's much nicer on the Poco F2 Pro than on the iPhone SE. Yes, the small phone does have its advantages as well. It is very one-handed, so if you want to type, it is much easier. You want to scroll through, you want to go to the other side of the phone, it is much easier. Compared to the big phone, which here is super gigantic, most of the time, you will definitely need to use 2 hands to operate this phone. And talking about those screens, yes, Poco F2 Pro, they actually improved their screen over here compared to the Poco F1. The Poco F1 came with an LCD screen, and the Poco F2 Pro actually upgraded it to an AMOLED screen. So again, watching content, doing all that is very nice on this phone. I only just got this a few days ago, so I'm actually just testing it out, but so far it actually looks very nice. On the iPhone SE, you get an LCD screen, but I want to tell you guys that I used iPads before, and even on the big screen, their LCD screen is one of the best. It beats out a lot of competitors from the Android side of things. It has a retina display, so it's very fluid, very punchy colors, it's very nice. So actually you don't really notice much of the difference, and the fact that it is smaller, you don't really need so much pixels to push anyway. So you can get nice screens on both phones, but of course if you want a bigger screen, the Poco F2 is a better choice. So we did talk about the A13 Bionic chip on the iPhone SE, and on the F2 Pro you are also getting a flagship chipset, the Snapdragon 865 on this phone. This is the same chipset that's powering my OnePlus 8 Pro, and in the US versions, the S20 series, the Oppo Find X2 Pro, every flagship you can find in 2020 is powered by the Snapdragon 865. It is a very good processor, and if you've seen my video about the OnePlus 6, 7 and 8 Pro, you know that the Snapdragon for the past few years has been doing very well. So I expect this phone, actually the 865, to last many years, for at least 3 to 4 years. In terms of updates, it depends on Xiaomi and Poco whether they want to release their updates for these phones. On the Poco F1, I actually used it before. I got it for my mom and in 2018, so until now it's still actually getting updates. So I do hope with this phone, with the amazing chipset over here, it will get some more updates for the next 3 to 4 years. It will actually add a lot of value to this phone. But talking about all these processors of the updates, you have to keep in mind that over time your battery of the phones will degrade over time. Apple has been, to be honest, I've used the iPads and all that, they have had a bad history when it comes to battery. That's because the size of the battery is not very big compared to the Android. Yes, their iOS is able to so-called compensate for that because they don't really push so much battery and all that on their phones. But over time, once you hit that 1 to 2 years mark, you will definitely feel your battery a bit degrading over time, and that is completely normal. Over here on the Poco F2 Pro, you have a 4700 milliamp battery. That is very huge, almost as big as the S20 Ultra. It's even bigger than my OnePlus 8 Pro. And even it's like half of that, probably you can get it on the iPhone SE. It's less than 2000 milliamp of power of battery. Next thing here, with the high tech over here, you have a fingerprint which is in display. Why I bring this up is because on the iPhone SE, they don't have any more face unlock. They go back to Touch ID over down here. So you actually have to press down here to get back, and that adds a lot more bezels to your phone, so you get a smaller screen over here. And another key area on both of these phones is the cameras. On the iPhone SE, you get a single camera compared to this quad camera over here. Yes, in general, most of the time, the iPhone does take better shots, that does take better portrait shots and everything else. They have one of the most best videos, colors with dynamic range. They have their Smart HDR. But then again, when you look at this, you have a quad camera on the back. You can take wide angles, you can take telephoto, you can take macro, and they have a 64 megapixel main lens. And going on to the front, you have a normal, I think it's 10 megapixel or something camera on the front. If it's wrong, I'll just leave the thing over here. And on the Poco F2 Pro, you have a pop-up camera over here. So over here, you can see, I'm just gonna pop this up. And over here you can see it's very intuitive. This is something very 2019, which is the pop-up camera, and it's a 20 megapixel camera. It's not as good as probably the iPhone, but it's 20 megapixel, you still get a lot of good details. So yes, you can see here in the animations, they have this thing over here. You can add the sound, you can add the color. But with this price at 400 USD, the Poco F2 has to take some hits in some departments. You don't get an IP rating on this phone compared to the iPhone as you heard, which is an IP68 rated. And the next thing, if you guys are into it, it's about the stereo speakers. You get this still on the iPhone, then on the Poco F2 Pro, which has a down-firing speaker over here. And next thing you guys want to know is that this one does have wireless charging. So if you have a wireless charger at home, again, you can just pop it up on the back and it does wireless charge. This one doesn't have it, but this one has a 30 watts of fast charging compared to this. This can go up to 18 watts, but you have to buy a separate adapter for it. Right out of the box, they give you a slow 10 watts charger if I'm not wrong. In terms of battery usage, I would say the Poco F1 did perform very well up to today. It's still performing quite well. So I do expect this 4700 milliamp battery to last me quite some time. So that is it guys, these are the two phones here, the Poco F2 Pro and the iPhone SE. Both of them again are about 400 USD. So it's up to you guys, which one do you want to get. If you want the iPhone, you want to get into the brand, the ecosystem, this is a very good phone. If you want something more Android-ish, you can get this one. It has a very good value to performance ratio, and it's a very good phone. I would actually recommend this, and I would try to use this as my daily driver just to compare it again with my OnePlus 8 Pro and S20 Plus and see how well it performs. So that's it guys, this is Dr. Hummus Tech. Do follow me on my socials on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel to help it grow. This is Dr. Hummus Tech. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.